Hello, I'm Cheri Scholtz and I'm the CEO of PETCO from South Africa. I'm sorry that I can't be with you today, but I'm sure you're having a wonderful conference and I'm looking forward to sharing the insights into plastic and PET recycling in South Africa with the latest update. The South African plastics industry advocates a positive mood to achieve world-class standards in terms of recycling. PETCO is short for the PET Recycling Company, and we represent the industry's joint effort to self-regulate post-consumer PET recycling and fulfill the PET industry's role of extended producer responsibility for PET products throughout their life cycle. Everyone involved in the value chain plays an important role, from raw material producers through to manufacturers, retailers, consumers and recyclers. Each fulfills an important role in the process. We are financed by a voluntary recycling levy paid by converters on raw material purchased, and the company also receives grants in aid from brand owners and raw material producers. Locally, bottle-grade resin is produced by HOSAF and recycled resin by Extrapet. The remainder of the market is supplied from China, Southeast Asia and the Middle East. Between 70 and 80% of this funding goes directly to our recycling partners. These are businesses which recycle PET into a number of end-use products. This funding seeks to assist the recyclers to grow their capacity and collection networks in line with our targets. These partnerships are based on multi-year contracts, which allows for forward planning and budgeting for all involved. It was recognized early on in PETCO that recycling is not always economically feasible to do, and so PETCO is able to assist recyclers further in times of extreme hardship, such as during the 2009 credit crunch. The South African PET recycling rate was one of the few in the world that continued to grow during this challenging period. We believe this model has worked extremely well for us. Post-consumer bottle recycling rates have grown tremendously since our inception. In 2005, approximately 10,000 tons was recycled, and the recycling rate was 16%. By the end of 2014, we are targeting 64,000 tons, a recycling rate of 48%. So we're almost at 50%, which will be a landmark for us and the first time that we'd be recycling almost 1 out of every 2 bottles. Most of us do realize, though, that recycling is a complex business and that it involves both the formal and informal sectors. In our case, there is a very large informal component to our business. We have been engaged in our efforts for a decade and have built up a considerable knowledge of works best in local conditions. I will tell you more about our successes later, but in terms of the informal part of our business, I'm particularly proud that our activities have led to the creation of approximately 41,000 income opportunities and sustainable livelihoods in the recycling sector. We expect this to continue to grow over the coming years. Most of these people are collectors and would otherwise be unemployed, but they are becoming entrepreneurs and becoming skilled in many processes of business during this process. For a country where poverty and a need for many jobs to be created quickly, this is important. We have achieved some notable successes, but we are also up against some notable challenges. First, let me tell you about some of our successes. During 2013, over 1.9 billion post-consumer PET bottles were recycled across South Africa, around 5.4 million bottles every single day, totaling almost 60,000 tons for the year. This is 18.6% more than collections of the previous year and typical of the healthy growth rates over the past decade. These collections represent a saving of 90,000 tons of carbon and 400,000 cubic meters of landfill space. We believe that we're on track to achieve our post-consumer bottle recycling target of 70% by 2022. Historically, our largest end-use markets have been in the polyester staple fiber sector. There has been an increase in the demand and uptake of PET recyclate in the packaging sector, which resulted in savings for the PET industry and consumers down the line. We are also encouraged by the market acceptance of PET recyclate with the use of 50% rPET in a juice bottle. The first trials have already been conducted on a 100% application for a non-food bottle. During the past year, we have seen an expansion in recycler capacity, and there has also been an acceleration of infrastructure development, such as drop-off centers and recycling initiatives. Currently, we are helping to close the recycling loop through our partner Extrapet's new plant expansion and approved carbonated soft drink bottle to food grade using the Starlinger technology, which we believe will be the first of its kind in Africa. PETCO is particularly pleased to announce 2 new recycling partners that have been contracted, SafriPet and Impact Polymers, the latter scheduled to come on stream in 2015 and which will add significant capacity in our CSD-approved bottle-to-food grade sector. A particular highlight for us recently was the EPRO General Meeting in Cape Town in November last year, the first time that the event was held outside Europe. It created a great opportunity to engage, develop and grow a global partnership for the plastic and packaging sectors in South Africa. And I think there was plenty of opportunity for networking across the 16 countries that were represented there. While engaging with decision makers in industry, government and others doing important work in recycling locally as well as internationally, it is important that we also return to our grassroots of consumers for support and ensure that there is adequate public awareness about PET recycling. We engage in intensive consumer and public education and awareness activities to promote environmental responsibility and participate in various recycling projects, equipment provision, training and litter awareness projects. One of our retailers, Woolworths, with a close association to Marks & Spencer, has made a notable effort to improve on-pack information for consumers by adapting the on-pack recycling label system pioneered by the BRC and RECOUP. Our overall aim is to be the authoritative voice that champions post-consumer recycling and represents the PET industry at Plastic South Africa and the Packaging Council of South Africa. Therefore, we shape our operations according to 10 areas of focus. These range from the effective collection of the voluntary recycling levies from all PET converters, bottlers and importers, and ensuring participation in our activities by all entities involved in the PET value chain, to ensuring best practice and developing key performance indicators. We also actively promote industrial design that aids recycling. Another very important focus area is to work towards the implementation of a national paper and packaging industry waste management plan as requested by the South African Department of Environmental Affairs. 2 of the main challenges faced in achieving our aims in recent times have been the softening global markets for recycled PET fiber, as well as falling prices for virgin PET, both of which make local recycling operations more difficult to operate economically. What has offset these challenges somewhat has been the marked depreciation of the rand. This has helped the local recycling market remain competitive against the falling price of competing products. Another effect of a weakening rand is that the export of bales and flakes from South Africa to other countries becomes more attractive. There is no doubt that this contributed to the higher than predicted exports of both bales and flake last year, which led in turn to local recyclers paying higher prices towards the end of that year for feedstock. Export of bales and flake are not a major contributor to local recycling, and we estimate that approximately 90% of collected bottles will be recycled in South Africa this year. Bale quality also remains a concern, particularly when demand for material is high. PETCO wants to ensure that the growth of the industry will be on the back of good quality materials. Problems with the 3 to 4% PVC contamination of every bale remain, and recyclers have asked PETCO to engage actively with brand owners to limit production of shrink-wrap labeled bottles due to the costs of disposing of these. To achieve our objective of meeting our PET recycling targets, there are essentially 5 distinct but interrelated challenges to overcome. Firstly, we need to standardize waste management procedures and processes. Currently, local waste collection and management is best described as a lottery. Most of the authorities in South Africa still do not have curbside plastics collection, even for bottles. We are hopeful that the Waste Management Act will be a catalyst for more effective collection programs and partnerships between municipalities and industry. Second, we have to facilitate improved infrastructure so that we can deal with the huge increase in plastic recycling that meeting our targets will imply. Third, we need to further develop the market for recyclate and a higher demand for products made from recycled plastics. This will take considerable investment in infrastructure, innovation, and encouragement from the entire value chain, including specifically also retailers. Fourth, we have to continue our efforts to increase consumer awareness and understanding. We know that consumers are generally willing to recycle when it is made easy for them to do so, but getting them to be fully efficient and motivated and to change behavior requires ongoing education. Fifth, we have to ensure that design for recycling is embedded into the development of packaging. We recognize the need for innovators, designers, manufacturers and packaging decision makers to understand how packaging design decisions can affect container recyclability. I believe challenges are there to be met with a positive spirit and to turn them into opportunities that benefit all. I look forward to a very bright future for PET recycling in South Africa and am backed in this by the enthusiasm of the entire value chain. Mostly, I'm encouraged by the work being put into this effort by all concerned, including the large component of people from the informal sector who would otherwise have no sustainable source of income. We continue to strive towards the aim of achieving our targets year by year and making PET recycling a model for effective teamwork as well as extended producer responsibility in South Africa. We recognize that to increase recycling, the rates of all post-consumer materials and products will also need to increase. We look forward to continue working with our colleagues, stakeholders and peers from a variety of different material streams, both locally and internationally. Collaboration and partnerships will be the key to growing a vibrant and resilient recycling industry. Thank you for listening.